Oh, God. All right, guys, welcome back to the Spin Zone podcast with me, Cake Eater. And we also got Chad and Vile. How are you guys doing today?
Amazing.
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great.
Absolutely. So we got another great episode coming in for you guys. And to kind of start off, hey, Chad.
Yes.
Hey, we got some pretty decent Beyblades that are gonna be coming out pretty soon. Where should people go ahead and buy those?
Well, I mean, if they knew what was best for them, I'd say everyone who's currently listening to this podcast, be sure to visit both of our sponsors, that being beybladepodcast.com and Mall of Toys. If you go to, for instance, our first sponsor, which is Bays and Bricks, you can save 7% off of your order using code SPINZONE. That's SPINZONE. And at Mall of Toys for 5% off of your order, use code SPINZONEPODCAST.
Absolutely, Chad. And we do appreciate all of those who have already used both one or both of our codes at checkout for Bays and Bricks or Mala Toys. So, baysandbricks.com, use code SPINZONE, and then also Mala Toys, use code SPINZONE podcast at checkout because all those proceeds will go ahead and come back to the podcast. So, guys, we actually had a pretty
Woo!
decent event this past weekend, and it was actually at a pretty unusual location. It was in a shopping mall, which is not really the bizarre part, but it was actually right in the dead middle of the mall itself, which is absolutely wild. But it's also a great way to get kind of more traction to the game. So, Vile, what did you think about the event this past weekend?
Well, I think Next Spin Volume 2 went really well. Obviously, Volume 1 was also in the mall. Definitely learned some things from the first one that I think were put to good use in the second one. And everything went swimmingly. I mean, it was a great event. I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of interesting judge calls I had to make. Um, we
Oh
can get into
boy.
those a little bit later if you want. But there's some interesting things going on, but nothing like terrible, just unusual.
Sure.
Overall, it was a lot of fun. There was vending, there was Beyblades. We were right next to like a little coffee place or whatever. That was great. Food court nearby, bathrooms nearby. It was a fun event, and I personally had a great time. And the last thing I really want to say about it is, if I recall correctly, someone on this podcast right now came up just short of first place, didn't they?
Yes, I actually
I heard.
out of 32 people, I end up getting second place. So it's a fantastic win. Uh, had a little self KO right off the start, so gave my opponent 3 points out of 7.
Ooh.
So that kind of, yeah, right off the rip. So there was a really big disadvantage right off the start, but I kind of came back. And overall, McThunder did a great job, sir. So major shout out to him. And huge shout out to Wayward for putting on such a good event as well. And it was really cool because at the mall at that point, which is kind of another thing that we could kind of talk about and segue into, it was during a interesting event going on. It was like a vendors event. So a lot of people were there kind of shopping, looking around on it was a two-level mall. So we were getting bystanders from the lower level and up on the upper gallery as well. So it was really cool. So if you guys need some kind of event idea, definitely do it at a mall when there's like another event going on. Because we've had some really good people kind of coming in, checking out Beyblades. I even heard several people be like, "Oh, I didn't even know this game was still around." So I think that's one major thing that we gotta look into about growing this game is trying to really venture out, try to find different ways of getting the word out of Beyblades into people that used to play this game about 20 or so years ago. What do you guys think?
The 100% agree.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Let's
I
get
totally
everyone
agree.
into Beyblade X.
Yeah, I agree. We should get them all into it. Take, I'm not gonna lie, my favorite part of what was going on in the mall was the puppy adoption event.
Oh yeah, yeah. There were just so many events
I,
going on
I'm
this
sorry,
past.
we're adopting puppies.
Yeah, we're gonna be adopting two puppies. One is gonna be Bay, and then the other one is gonna be Blade, and then they're just gonna, as puppies, just probably latch onto you, or I don't know. But yeah, there was so much stuff going on. There was like a little kids inflatable area right by us. There was a puppy event going on as well. There was just so much stuff going on during our event that it brought in so much traction. We had a free play area with some demo bays that people can come in, rip on some stadiums, no charge whatsoever, and a lot of people really seem to enjoy it, especially people that never even ripped a bay ever in their life, from Classic Gen all the way to X. So it was really cool to trying to get some different people into this game that have never played it before, or just trying to be nostalgic and rip some bays like they did about 20 or so years ago. We got
Hey, what
Con
if they
come.
only ripped base? What if they only ripped base originally 10 years ago? Then are they not allowed?
Probably no, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Everyone is welcome. Even Khan up in the YouTube chat says that the missus loved the puppy therapy, which is very true. Everyone needs a little bit of puppy therapy now and again, but yeah, overall it was a great event, and I think personally Hasbro and TT can kind of use this to their advantage. Like they need to do more events themselves, like what Wayward did these last couple times. Um,
1,000% agree.
and it's more than just advertisement, it's actually putting something together, which is really what Hasbro kind of needs at this point. Like, we all love this game, but Hasbro's been really lacking on the advertisement and putting on certain events.
Well, Hasbro's terrible about it, right? You know,
Hmm.
I think the first thing that viewers need to remember is that, well, I would love it, and I'm sure everyone listening would love it as well, if TT were to step up to the plate and really have more of a presence in the Western market. I think everyone would love it. With that being said, we need to understand that that's very unlikely to happen, and really, because Hasbro is their Western distribution partner, um, I'm not even sure they could contractually do that without stepping on Hasbro's toes. So, you know,
Mm.
I think we need to. I don't want to say quit blaming TT, because I guess we could say, well, TT should just distribute here themselves and get Hasbro the hell out of there. And that, listen, that would be great too. I'm not going to argue with that. But in the current situation, we're really looking to Hasbro to step up and do the right thing. And you know, I'm going to have to see how their rollout is of the 2026 World Qualifier to see if I feel like they're ever going to do anything better or not.
Yeah, we have a comment actually up in TikTok chat. So if you guys are interested in checking out one of these shows live, got to make sure you join the YouTube, the TikTok, Twitch, and also join our Discord for when we do end up going live as well. But the comment states tournaments and free play expose in the mall is smart and gets more attention and players, which kind of falls back into like people that have played this in Viles terms 10, 20 years ago. people don't still remember, or people still don't know that this game exists. And having a free play in a mall, in an open area just like that, in any mall really, is really beneficial for the community itself and also Hasbro.
Yeah, I don't disagree, Cake.
This is true.
At some point, you want to ask yourself, when is Hasbro gonna step up and support the organizers on on a local level, right? Because yeah, they can have some, let's just pretend for a second, oh, their 2026 World Championship qualifiers aren't quite as bad as 2025. I mean, that's a great start, but they can do so much more than just, not have players kneeling on the floor playing Beyblade. They could do things like support local organizers with some physical prize support.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be great if, Hasbro would send me or Wayward or whoever some shark scales, to give out as tournament prizing rather than having them be scalped for $35-$40 on eBay all the time. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, like for instance, here in the Minnesota scene, there's even a shark scale on Marketplace right now for $30. Yeah, it is less than MSRP, but still something that you can get for what can you buy shark scale at the store for? Like $15?
So shark scale is a booster, right? And this is where I'm the market guy. Shark scale is a booster. It is $9.99 manufacturer's suggested retail price. Um, and yes, I suppose the $30 on Marketplace is a little bit less than what you're paying the scalper on eBay or the scalper on Amazon or the scalper. I mean, listen, I don't want to name names, but even some of the Bay websites that we've come to know and love are scalping this shark scale. Okay. I mean, and I don't need to name names, but it's happening. And if you look for it, you'll see it.
It's very
So,
true.
Yeah.
so with that being said, is 30 better than 35 plus tax and shipping? Yeah, but this guy's not paying fees. He doesn't have any credit card processing costs. He's got it a little bit lower because he wants to do a local cash sale. But the bottom line is he can say he ordered an extra one off eBay. We all know that's not true. He
Uh-uh.
he probably, Jake, and I would be pretty certain of this. He probably has more than one. He just doesn't post that he has 40 of them because then he's going to get a bunch of hate. But if he pretends he's only got the one, he'll just, if Chad goes and meets up with him later today, that ad's not going to get taken down. It's going to stay there. And then when Mick Thunder goes to buy one a couple days from now, this guy's probably got 20, 30 of them sitting around. He's just not advertising that because he doesn't want
Yeah.
the hate associated with it.
Yeah, he's probably one of the main reasons why we can't get him on Amazon right now. But at the end of the day, who knows? Yeah, we got Wayward up in the YouTube chat saying the next term next spin at MOA, so Mall of America, sponsored by Hasbro, prayer emoji. I think just really next spin or any tournament at any sort of mall is a good exposure just for the game itself. And again, Hasbro could definitely take advantage of that. And I know like Mall of Toys is definitely taking advantage of all these tournaments that are definitely being put together by the Minnesota scene all together, like the Vials tournament, the Wayward tournaments, and who else does Mall of Toys? Does Acuna do Mall of Toys?
I think so.
No, he does not.
Yeah, Acuna has never had Mall of Toys as a sponsor. And I don't want to speak for him, but my personal guesstimate is that he likely wouldn't.
But yeah, just Hasbro could definitely take advantage of that. And someone also mentioned that we should, as the Spin Zone guys, go to Visit the Hasbro office in Minneapolis and talk to someone and present the idea. You never know. First off, I didn't know that Hasbro had a office in Minneapolis to begin with.
No, they have big corporate offices in almost every state at this point.
Oh, do they? Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe honestly, that is
Well,
something
now you
to.
know.
The more you know. Yeah, I honestly didn't
Exactly.
even know. Maybe the guy who was selling
I
the
mean,
shark. Oh,
especially if we start to get like uh I mean, we're already pretty big in terms of podcasts, but if we can like really get like we could do one of those like uh polls or something like that, or not polls, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like we could get a bunch of people to sign up on a piece of paper that asking Hasbro to,
Petition.
oh, a
step up
petition.
and
Yep.
petition. Yes, that's the word. Yes, we could actually, with the help of everyone listening, we could even try a petition to try to get you know, Hasbro to step up their game a little bit and to help us out more.
Honestly, that's not a really bad idea. So that might be something to talk to each other about. So maybe we can talk about that after this episode. And Khan also was mentioned it would be great for Volume 3, especially to a trip to Baycon, which
Ooh,
there are a lot of conventions kind of going on that are really starting to involve Beyblades. Like we got Baycon in Texas in
makes
August.
sense.
Then there's also what is it called? Hurricane with Bay or something like that in Chicago in July. And then yeah, is that what it's called? Hurricane Bay?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you the name. I
Uh,
know there's July 11th and 12th.
yeah, July 11th
They've
and
got
12th.
they've got X like ranked or standard, whatever you want to call it, and then I believe they have Metal Fight Limited, and then X Teams are the three events they're throwing.
Yeah. So, and that's just the Chicago one, but Baycon is an all weekend thing in early mid August, I believe. So I don't know if Hasbro has anything to really do with any of those conventions. But again, that's just something being put on by like the community itself and being sponsored probably by Bays and Bricks, Mall of Toys, and all the other places. Maybe Hasbro does, but again, I could not be 100% sure on that.
Yeah, Hasbro's been reluctant. Um, if you recall, when we had Burr on, and I guess I'm not 100% sure if we asked him this on the air or backstage, but he had mentioned he had reached out to Hasbro, and they essentially gave him a pat on the shoulder and said, "Good job," and didn't want to do nothing for him.
That sounds about right.
It is called Hurricane Bay Midwest Beyblade 2026. Okay. I appreciate it, Jess.
That is wow.
Yeah, it's a name. And then
Holy
someone else
word soup.
and then another way that which is probably not a bad idea and I've seen it done with other communities, maybe try to get a reporter from the local news that can be invited to a tournament, probably at a mall. Use use that as leverage to talk about Hasbro, like a mall event, uh, uplifting communities. Yeah, which honestly, kind
Yeah.
of getting hold of like a news studio or like a local radio or something else like that. I It's a great idea actually. Make a video for the next spin
I
volume
agree.
2. Yeah, there are so many ideas that the community is actually doing just to help get the word out for this game. And it is amazing to see all of it. Now, if only Hasbro could put a quarter of that effort into this game, and we all get Hasbro is doing so much with all their other with all the other stuff and trying to find out new toys and other stuff like that. but in a pretty competitive game, because it's not just battle tops sitting on a shelf. This is pretty competitive now. I wish they
What?
would actually.
When has Beyblade's ever been competitive?
Well, look at Worlds. That's a big thing.
Oh,
Yeah. I do believe Hasbro has their merchandise office inside MOA. Oh, interesting.
so what we need to do is we've got to storm the MOA building and demand Hasbro give us our Beyblades.
And also let Wayward or even Vile, if he's interested, host an event at MOA.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool. You know, it's gonna be really interesting to see because I don't. You know, the problem is Hasbro doesn't care about us or the game. They care about their profit margins, and I don't want to single them out. That's not unique to Hasbro. Okay, there's plenty of companies out there,
Mm-hmm.
whether they're video game companies, whether they're toy companies, uh, you know, just really any business. Yes, having a business, you need to make profit. But I do believe at some point that profits become excessive and, you know, they could put at least a small percentage of those profits back into the community that supports them. And Hasbro's not really doing that right now. And it's unfortunate because they could do the right thing, but they don't want to. You know, TT does the right thing in Japan. I can't speak too much for the China regions, but I can tell you that the distributor in the Philippines that distributes TT product there, Banky, they actually run their own tournament series over there. And yes, there are also independent organizers running their own events or using the WBO or whatever, but the Filipino distributor runs a tournament series as well because they want to support their players and support their community. Because at the end of the day, the better the community is supported, the more fun they have, the more they feel like the parent company gives a crap about what they're doing, the more product they're going to buy. That's God's honest truth.
Yeah,
No, and unlike Tube, actually kind of makes a good point. Beyblade has a collector slash fun side and a competitive side. They can definitely both exist, which is true. Hasbro only seems
Yep,
to see a brand as a toy, and they are losing out on potential of the brand.
yeah,
I
that
agree.
sounds about right to me.
Oh yeah, like it's more than just a toy at this point. Like
It's a collector's item. It's a way of life. So
yeah, look at
Hasbro, get your heads out of your bit.
look at the Red Rumble event that happened a couple weeks ago. There was 250 plus people signed up specifically for the event, and 100 plus people on the wait list. And who knows how many people decided not to put their name on the wait list because they didn't think they were going to get in. And that's just
Yeah,
one single event. And Hasbro could not even contribute or capitalize it. And Wayward said up in chat, um, Hasbro didn't even support the Fullerton event over this weekend. The big creators couldn't even get
wow.
them, which is wild. Like big content creators couldn't even get Hasbro. Hasbro, get your bit out of your ratchets.
Yeah,
It.
get your
I
bit
mean,
out of your ratchets, you goddamn simple ratchets.
Oh my god.
Fullerton is the event in Fullerton, California this past weekend is a great example of there were a lot of pretty prominent Bay tubers in attendance there. The
Mm-hmm.
California scene is quite large in comparison to most other communities here in the US. And as far as I understand, it was also a charity event on top of all of that. So Hasbro could have had some really great PR if they had just donated a small amount of money to the charity or they had provided some prizing or maybe a little bit of both. But instead, they chose to do nothing as per usual with them. And at some point, you have to wonder, like, Japan is always ahead of us on this stuff, right?
Yes.
Japan is very, very good at creating fads or whatever that come to America. You know, when Pokemon was first launching here in America, Japan already loved Pokemon. They'd already had Pokemon. And for a while at first, even though kids loved it, a lot of parents didn't understand it. They didn't really like it. Some of them thought, it had to do with the devil or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but nowadays, 30 years later, we all accept Pokemon, and not just nerds, not just kids. Everybody in America essentially knows what Pokemon is, and the vast majority of us accept it as part of our pop culture and our everyday lifestyles. And Beyblade maybe wouldn't ever get to quite that level of popularity, but in my opinion, there's no reason it couldn't be just as popular as some of these trading card games on the market today. But people have to give it a chance, and in order for people to want to give it a chance, they need to feel like, and they need to see that Hasbro stands behind the product, which is not how they're acting currently.
Actually,
Very true.
because you brought up TCGs, does Hasbro do anything to sponsor their TCG games? Aren't they the owner of the
So
biggest TCGs around?
So
Yes.
Hasbro does, yeah, they do own Wizards of the Coast, who's in charge of Magic. And I've talked about that before, maybe not on the show, but I've talked about it privately many, many times. Um, the the Wizards Play Network software that they use for Magic the Gathering tournaments is actually some of the most intuitive tournament bracketing software I've ever utilized in my life, much better than Challenge. And on top of that, the Wizards organized play program does a great job of prize support. They have special prizes for pre-releases, for for local Friday Night Magic events. They have different promos for regionals, for nationals, for worlds. And that's another reason that to me it's so confusing why Hasbro can't get their bid out of their ratchet, because one of their subsidiaries is already doing this with one of their games, and it's hugely and wildly successful and popular. Magic has exploded in popularity in the last 5 to 10 years, and Beyblade could at least be doing some of that, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not to the full extent, but some of it, if Hasbro got their act together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who actually does play Magic, a great example. Everyone in the Minnesota scene knows about Kraken hits. If you don't, where you been? But like they have two Magic nights at Krakens, and I'm not even kidding when I say the way it works, thanks to Hasbro, is like you come in, they have a little event code up front. You download the app. They have their own like companion app. Magic does, and if you type in the event code from the front, you just get a free pack of cards. Where's
Well,
that in Beyblade?
well,
Come
I know
on,
you.
Hasbro.
I know Yu-Gi-Oh does that for their tournaments. What which is basically like $5 to $10 or so. Then you get a free pack, and I know Lorcana does that. Digimon does that. It'd be kind of a little
Oh yes, but
difficult.
here's the thing. The event I'm talking about is a free play event, meaning you don't even pay anything. You just go in, sign in
Oh,
with the event code, and you just get a free pack of cards that has like I want to say like 3 to 5 cards in the pack. So it's not like a big pack, but it's still like
it's
it's
something.
it's something. It's like cards for free. No one's gonna complain
Yeah,
about that.
and maybe from a cost analysis, it wouldn't make sense that at every Beyblade free play or minor local tournament, Hasbro would be giving away Beyblades. Maybe that doesn't make sense, but they could
Unless it's Wizard
certainly
Rod.
they could certainly steal some of those sticker sheets from Japan and give out some of those.
Yeah, we're not asking for a lot, Hasbro. We just want something.
Yeah,
Something that shows that like our effort is worth it at the end of the day. Like that's all we want.
yeah. We got Wizard of Oz up in chat. I'm planning to host some tournaments and how to play demos at San Diego Comic Con, and I'm not bothering to ask for support from Hasbro. I'm providing the prize support and loaner base for the kids. Which honestly, kudos to you, Wizard. So that
Based, based.
yeah, so first off, it's at San Diego Comic Con. It's a really big event. So kudos to you
Yeah,
for
huge,
have
huge.
oh yeah, one of the hugest uh conventions, if I'm not mistaken.
One of the bigger conventions in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, one of the bigger ones. So honestly, kudos to you. I probably would have shot my shot. And honestly, get a hold of Bays and Bricks or Mall of Toys. They might be able to send you something because they are fantastic people to work with, and they, who knows, just shoot your shot. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
That's wild,
Yeah,
but also true.
it's true, and I don't blame Wizard of Oz for not wanting to reach out to Hasbro because they've shown a propensity to not want to do anything for anyone. But you guys are
True.
absolutely right. There are base stores out there who have been known to contribute either financially or with product, gift certificates, whatever, to these sort of events. And I think reaching out to a place like Mall of Toys or Bays and Bricks would be a great step to try to get a little bit extra for the players that are going to be there. But I got to give kudos to a guy like Wizard of Oz or anyone kind of doing similar things in their local communities. These are the people that are getting the word about Beyblade X out on the streets. They're the ones who are bringing in the new players and also the new customers for Hasbro. And to me, well, that's great, and I respect and appreciate their efforts. I really, really do. But Hasbro needs to do something too. It can't
Mm.
just be left on private individuals all the time. It's a little ridiculous.
It really is, and Hasbro can definitely kind of take advice. Yeah, and they are a little bit older company, so they're probably in that mindset, oh, we know what we're doing. We do this, we do that. Like, no, you're only focusing on like a couple demographics. Like, what else do you really focus on? You have so many other things. Wizard of Oz, I'm surprised they didn't already have a pre-scene. And yeah, thanks for the tips. I'll check out some of those stores. Oh, absolutely. Not a problem. Mall of Toys, Bays and Bricks, fantastic people. Definitely go hit them up.
Always love our
I
base and
agree.
brick.
I agree. Now, Kate, do you want to transition to something else here? Because I feel like we've been reaming Hasbro pretty good for about the past 20, 30 minutes. Maybe we want to
I got a topic
talk
we
about
can
something a
definitely
little
talk
more
about for a
jovial.
little bit.
Yeah. What's
All right,
up?
what's that?
I think we need to discuss the recent events surrounding a certain Beyblade that can transform into two Beyblades at the same time in the arena,
Oh, yeah. This
and the fact that
thing,
it comes with this nifty feature where it just breaks if it makes contact.
ladies and gentlemen, if
So,
you are not aware what Chad is talking about, he is talking about Bullet Griffin or Rocket Griffin, whatever you guys are planning on buying. But Bullet Griffin, it is one of those bays, if you have not seen, once it explodes, it becomes two bays, in a sense.
I
And
mean,
I,
it's not in a sense. It literally does become two bays. There's two separate spinning tops now in the arena, and this has been something that's been talked about for a while because Chad would know better than I do. But apparently, they had bays with similar gimmicks to this in previous generations. But this is
yes,
the
they did.
first time we've seen it in X. And what I'm really curious about is is how this is going to impact potentially the meta, because this thing is heavy. I've heard about builds with Bullet Griffin sometimes topping out as high as almost 64 grams. But
Yep.
also how it's going to affect tournament play, because there's been a lot of things that have been brought up that are very valid points about how are we going to differentiate. The only customization kind of built into Bullet Griffin is the bit, right?
That's it.
So and my guess is very quickly we're going to find out what bit it's best on, and we're going to see a lot of mirror matchups. How are we going to differentiate two players Bullet Griffins when they're in the stadium? And also, it's going to be a challenge, at least at the beginning, until judges kind of get things down pat, to figure out what are we scoring here? How does this bay function from
Well,
a points perspective?
that part should be simple enough. I know people have been going back and forth on that, but as someone who has been in the Beyblade scene for a very long time, at least long enough to understand how these gimmicks have always worked, the way it's always been and the way it will always be is when a Beyblade does this, there are two parts: the main bay and the gimmick part. And the gimmick part has and will always be a single piece. So,
Yes.
like with Bullet Griffin, the top part is, yes, it's metal and it does have plastic, but it's all one full piece. Like you can't like take it apart except with maybe a screwdriver, but that doesn't count. Meanwhile, the bottom part of the Beyblade is where you actually put the bit, and that's the part that needs to be scored. It's been the same way with like in Burst they had a couple of Beyblades that did this to a much lesser extent. One was Revive Phoenix, and the way that worked is there was actually a plastic disc that sat on the outside of the bay that was like loosely held there. So if the Beyblade made contact with another Beyblade, that ring would pop off and it would bounce around the arena and help to destabilize another bay. You wouldn't count the ring as the bay, would you? Because it's not spinning.
Hmm.
Oh my
And
God.
another example, which is, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, Chad. So I understand from a literal perspective how it's going to be scored, right? TT has already made that ruling, and I think everyone's aware of it. My concern is just the first few weeks, maybe a month, that the bay's out. Even if judges understand what they're supposed to be doing, there's going to be confusion.
Which I totally get that and I understand that, and that's why especially if you're a newer judge and you're newer to Beyblade in general, rely on the judging of those who have been in this longer, like myself or anyone else who have been in Beyblade longer, because
Hmm.
we've dealt with these Beyblades before. A greater example is, I forget the name of the Beyblade, but there was a Beyblade in Burst, and I kid you not, the bit that it had, if you hit it hard enough, would spawn a smaller Beyblade. So, like, the
What the?
bit itself was technically a miniature Beyblade.
So it gave birth to a Beyblade? What the hell?
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the best way of putting it. That is unironically what it did. And
That is
again, you would
wild.
score the main Beyblade. So in the case of Bullet Griffin, you score the main Beyblade. You do not score the uh the top section. If you're in a battle with Bullet Griffin and the bottom section of the Beyblade bursts or is knocked out of the arena, that then points are awarded to the person not using Bullet Griffin. And if Bullet Griffin's top part is still spinning, but the bottom part stops spinning, that still points to the opponent, because that's the you again you everything scoring wise is all about the bottom part of the Beyblade. That's
Yeah.
the easiest, most simple way to do it without making like too much confusion.
Well, they kind of already did, but yeah, Nicholas basically said the same thing that you did up in TikTok. The bay with the bit attached takes priority in ruling. It won't have a heavy impact. part with the bit takes a point. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So the way you would score it, if it becomes popular, which unfortunately we'll go into it, it might actually become a very much seen Beyblade, is no matter what happens, you score the bottom part of Griffin only. You do not score the top. The whole point of Bullet Griffin is that it splits into two Beyblades in order to greatly destabilize your opponent's Beyblade. This Beyblade will not be getting like knockouts. And
Well,
we've already got video to prove this theory that this thing does not do knockouts. All it does is that top part gets in the way of your opponent's Beyblade from hitting your main Beyblade, as well as just being a general nuisance.
right. Let and as we all know, about 99% of people, probably a little less, probably like 97, 98% of people in their deck has a wizard rod and or shark scale, and then just a random bay for their third, correct? For the most
Yep.
part.
That was pretty standard. That's pretty
Right.
standard, I'd say.
Right. So, do you think, as Chad said, Rocket Griffin might be meta? So, is that going to take that third spot, or is that going to kick out Wizard Rod or Shark Scale?
I mean,
I think it depends on the player, right?
I can go. Yeah, it will depend on the player, but considering the fact that one of the videos that has become popular on Reddit was watching Bullet Griffin bully Shark Scale on Low Rush to the point where it just topples over. It, I'd l- I wouldn't be surprised if people actually did replace Wizard Rod with Bullet Griffin,
Interesting.
because I think it's safe to say now that we've got some really heavy hitter bays coming in. I think the time of Rod's dominance is finally coming to an end, and not soon enough.
Yeah, Knuckles put up in chat, will Bullet Griffin win against Wizard Rod Hexa? And then Bleak replied, if the bottom doesn't get extremed or overed, it will. Which I
Yeah,
agree.
because the way Bullet Griffin's bottom half is designed is more, I've heard at least from the Japanese players, is the bottom part of Bullet Griffin is way more stamina than even Wizard Rod, which is a frightening thing to say, but it's almost like the Beyblade is built for the bottom part is just built for stamina, which I hate to say it, but we already know what bit is going on there, especially since it does, like I've said in the past, these new Beyblades hold that are like mold, they hold bits like simple ratchets. It's going to be free ball. We already know it's going to be free ball.
I don't know. I think underneedle or a very low bit might actually do it. Just kind of keep it low.
It, well, the thing is to remember, Griffin is, since the bottom part will hold a bit like a simple ratchet, under needle and a lot of those other bits could work, but they are way more prone to bursting.
Hmm.
Free
So
ball does not burst that often. Anyone who's used it can agree with me, especially depending on which version of free ball you use. It's very hard to get that part to burst.
maybe the blue shark, the keyless shark elevate. Someone says ignition. Wayward is saying yielding. Uh, okay.
Oh, please do not use yielding. I feel so bad for your yielding bit if you use it on that Beyblade,
Oh my
especially
god.
after we've seen a couple of people mention the fact that things are now completely broken.
I've seen people on YouTube try
I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see it on yielding. I kind of want to see that. I'm not gonna lie.
a conversation
That's
with
fair.
Hexa, Jolt, Unite, or Level. Level might actually be pretty decent.
Eh,
Jolt.
I mean, they all could work to an
Mm-hmm.
extent, But at the end of the day, I will rescind my comment about Bullet Griffin. I thought it was just going to be another silly gimmick bay, and then I saw that even Shark Scale on low rush, Shark Scale on low rush was having difficulties knocking this bay out, and it's like, oh, okay. I see now we are actually in big trouble for attack types.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting when it does come out, and I know it is available for pre-order on Amazon. So if you guys have not yet got it from any of the online stores, check out Amazon. Because like Chad said, it who knows, it might be meta that hexa that comes with it. It might be a really tight hexa. I haven't heard anything, but at the end of the day, who knows? Stamina with burst resistance, yes.
Yeah. All I know is this. I've seen what the Hexa looks like in person as they're posting about it, and I definitely want to get Bullet Griffin just for that Hexa because it'll go color wise, it'll go perfectly with my super illegal clock build.
Joe Star says up in YouTube chat, time for Glide to shine. I
Oh
agree.
my god.
Oh, you know what? You know what? We here at the Spin Zone podcast will gladly be the first to test Glide on Bullet Griffin when we get a chance to use it. I
Yeah, you
I
know,
guys
I
are like
know, Jake is a
you
big
and
fan of it,
Joestar
but
are
even
brothers
I
in
have
Glide.
agreed.
hell yeah.
We love Bullet Griffin. We love Glide, and if Bullet Griffin can make Glide work, then that's just called a win.
True. Because Glide needs to work.
Glide is such a beautifully designed bit, and the fact that it just stinks on so many Beyblades is tragic.
Um, what do I have it on? I think I have Glide on Keel Shark or Mummy. I don't know. All my stuff's not
I was
here.
gonna say, Mummy sounds right for you at least.
Yeah, I think I had it on like 180 Glide Mummy.
Oh my god. You're
Hey, I
wild, brother. You're wild.
hey, gotta have a fun little bay every once in a while. Like just can't be all competitive.
That's true. That's why one Beyblade I've been trying recently that I want to be good, but hasn't so far, has been Mark Grayson the Beyblade, also known as uh, Drawn Buster one. I think it's 160 hexa. Yeah, apparently that's a thing.
Why? That should not be a thing.
Because I feel like Drawn Buster on Hexa sounds wrong on so many levels, but I've been hearing from people that if you're not running Drawn Buster as an attack type, that's the combo you throw it on.
I mean, 160 hex on almost anything is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, that can kind of tie into a question that we have up in TikTok. I need tips on how to make Sting Unicorn meta. Chad, if you want to take this one.
So you want to make Unicorn Sting meta. First, what you have to do is you have to, and I'm being serious here, no jokes. Um, if you can find a mold of Unicorn Sting that's pretty hefty, you're already off to a great start. And then the combo that I keep hearing about for Unicorn Sting is
Stock.
uh I mean you can do stock, obviously, especially if it's a heavier one, but no, there's a combo people have been talking about that like maximizes its balance potential.
People are saying disc ball up in chat for some reason. Mate.
No, people stop. Disc ball will never be a thing. Stop trying to make it a thing. Unicorn Sting on 960 Orb.
Interesting. I have Joe Star is saying 560 point. Uh,
560 point works. It definitely works.
Someone else is
I love
saying,
point.
oh yeah, point's pretty decent. Someone else is saying 960
Point is
taper
still
or
the best like balanced attack bits in the game.
someone else is saying 960 taper or point. Unicorn 870 under needle. Can
I don't know
okay.
about under needle, but most people who are trying to run it usually run it on some kind of ball or orb, and then I've been hearing lots of 560, only because 560 can make one of your sides heavier, and if you know anything about Sting Unicorn, it technically has two sides of it, one which is a defensive side and one which is an attack side, so you could run Hexa on it, honestly. I wouldn't be upset. I might even try running Sting Unicorn on 160 Hexa just to see if that works.
Actually, that wouldn't be really too bad. Someone else is saying 960 unite. We also got 960 orb. Then 560, and he forgot to put what bit. So a lot of 60s, which is pretty average.
Standard.
Yeah, obvious. Yeah, either if you're not doing 150, which we talked about in the last episode, kind of be wary on putting 150 on your at least your red Pegasus, because
Oh boy.
yeah, if you guys don't know, go ahead and re-listen to last week's episode where we interviewed the third place winner of the Red Line Rumble event that happened over in Michigan. It's a really good listen, so guys, go ahead and listen to that after this episode. If you want an underrated combo, Hell's Scythe 770 kick. Thanks, Knuckles.
Is that Knuckles? I knew that was Knuckles. I knew it.
Knuckles,
He loves that
we
Beyblade.
will be seeing you after class. We will be seeing you after class.
Oh,
So after all these combos that the viewers have listed, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. One of them is very brief, and then the next one kind of leads into what I think our next subject should probably be. The first thing is that a lot of people are kind of sleeping on 870 right now. Yes, I know it's not a 60 height ratchet. 860 may very well be better when it comes out, but right now it's our only 8-sided ratchet, and I feel like there's a distinct use case for it, just kind of like when 450 was our only 50 height ratchet. There are certain things that wanted to be a 50 height, even though 4 is maybe not the best. And I also think there are certain things that want an 8-sided ratchet, even though 70 is maybe not the best. So
I was going to say that's the one
I've been
that comes
using.
with the new Shield Knight, right?
Yes, that's correct. It also looks really cool too. So
it's really
I think there is some
Um,
use for it.
So I've got some great news about that, actually. AJ, who got his thanks to you, by the way, has actually been doing some testing with that and has found out there is a Beyblade that really, really loves that bit and or that loves that ratchet, actually.
Tide
And
whale.
it's none
Is it
other
Phoenix
than.
Wing?
Nope. It's Golem.
Oh, well, that's great because I love Rock Golem too. So I'm gonna have to try that now.
Yeah,
What bits you running
he's
it on?
been testing it on that as well as like I think at one point he was even testing it on Underneedle, but then he went to like a low flat, I want to say.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to try that out because I like Golem and I like 870, so that should be a fun combination to mess with.
yeah.
But the other thing, guys.
Unlike Tube also said,
Okay, go ahead.
870 kick on Golem is fire. So you're not the only one that
Well, there
thought
you
that
go.
that 870 on Golem is pretty good. So if you need a bit, go to kick.
Well, that's fair. And our viewers were talking about Sting Unicorn, which is very coincidental because I think it leads pretty well into maybe the next thing we should touch on, and that's that there's a new
Uh-oh.
unicorn in town as of this past weekend. Is there not?
Yes, and this mechanic
You're a
is
new unicorn.
so true. Yeah, and this unicorn is really different because instead of just like a standard attack, defense, or any of the other types, you can actually turn it specifically into an attack type, a defense type, and a balance type. If I'm not mistaken, is that the third one?
Yeah, I think it's attack,
Yeah.
defense, balance. I think that's correct.
Yeah, and it's something like that, and it's literally you just move it around. You take the chip out and you move it. If I'm Yeah, Unicorn Delta is what it's called, and it's actually, let me pull it up for the viewers right here. You can actually get it right now, beybladepodcast.com for pre. Well, actually, it's not ready for pre-order.
You
Yeah,
lied to me.
Are they sold out?
it looks like they are all sold out. At least the pre-orders, but
Yeah,
still,
these
yeah, the
both these new base cake have been selling like hotcakes. I mean, they really have. They're sold out almost everywhere. It's pretty crazy. They're both pretty cool. Both Bullet Griffin and this Unicorn Delta.
right. Unicorn Delta is the prize. It's actually really pretty blue and purple and everything. But let's not to forget about this really pretty samurai saber. It's not as pretty as the orange one or that blue one that's gonna be coming out soon, but it's still really pretty. Yeah, the white Delta unicorn is actually really nice. That's normally the prize bay is not the go-to bay, but I don't know what it is with this one. It might be the white and pink chip with the prize bay, just kind of make all the blue and pink zigzag kind of pop a little bit more. But also it has what is that? Hell's Hammer. And then a Terreno beat, and also a green Garuda. Yeah, so the prize unicorn is coming on PO, whatever that is, 360 GU. Gear Unite, maybe?
Yeah, that's correct.
Is it Gear Unite? Okay, hey, look at me go putting words that are already in the Beyblade vocabulary together. You got to get them early on Amazon JP, y'all. That's coming from Maple. So I guess we got to
Oh,
get
is Maple X watching it?
yeah, Maple is watching us live over on TikTok right now.
Oh, tell Maple I said hi.
Oh, you just did.
I think that was the joke.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of his videos lately. Now that I actually like go on TikTok once in a while. So
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have not listened to the interview that we did with Maple, it was about how long ago was that? Like a couple months ago? Like 2 or 3 months
yeah,
ago?
2 months probably, give or take.
Yeah, about 2 months ago. It was definitely a good listen. So go ahead, check out that interview after you listen to the previous interview, and then you go listen to the Maple interview. You will not be disappointed whatsoever. But back to these pre-orders. Delta Unicorn on PO 180. I'm GR, so I'm thinking it's Gear Rush.
Yep.
Okay. Samurai Saber on 965 low orb. Oh,
Yay, more low orbs, and now we don't have to buy a useless Beyblade to get it.
hey, I like Kraken.
Oh, I guess it does
Hey,
come
so
on
listen.
Kraken. I was mostly thinking of Wizard Arrow.
Oh,
I mean, I really like low orb. I think it's a cool bit. I always love to have more colors of bits that are actually playable. Cake, I have to disagree with you on one thing though about that samurai. I do not love the red on it. And by that, I don't mean like red's a bad color. It's very, very red, if that makes sense. I think I could have used an accent color.
No,
It's
and
too
I
red
do.
for his own good.
No, and it's fair. Like I said, it's not as pretty as the orange one that came out in the magazine or that really pretty blue one that's going to be coming out pretty soon. But if you need a samurai and you really don't want any of the other ones, this one might have to do. And especially on
Bro, no one can tell me they don't want that new blue and white samurai, because that kick is beautiful.
Oh
like,
yeah, I plan on buying it. I need
even
at
if I
least
didn't
2.
like Samurai Saber, I want that kick. Yeah. What's my friend saying from up here in Cloud? One for play, one for display.
Ooh. Hell yeah.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It is, and with that bay, it's true. And Cake,
It
I
is.
know probably one of the next ones you're going to bring up is that Crimson Garuda, and I just want everyone to know that I'm fair and balanced. Okay, unlike Fox News, I am actually fair and balanced.
No.
And
oh my god.
and even and Crimson Garuda, everyone knows, is like the bay that I'm most attached to from an appearance standpoint. But I have to say, I don't love this Crimson Garuda either, for the same reason I just said with Samurai Saber. It's just too green.
It is.
It's just green.
Yeah. Oh.
What you're saying is you're not
I'm an equal opportunity. Oh, I'm an equal opportunity hater, Chad. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, yay.
Okay.
So what does that Green Garuda come on, Cake?
Well, let's finish it up. We got Hell's Hammer on 385. Again, more simple ratchets because they think that we need more simple ratchets in this game.
Hey, Hasbro. Can I have a word with you, Hasbro, real quick? Listen.
This isn't Hasbro. This is TT.
Oh, this is TT. All right, listen, TT. Just because you're run by a bunch of people who are simple-minded does not mean we want ratchets to boot.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Anyway, speaking about booting, we got Terreno Beat on 360 needle, which that's probably going to be a pink needle, so that's going to look pretty nice because the Terreno Beat is like a pink red-ish. So it looks pretty decent. But to answer your question there, Vile, Crimson Garuda on 780 Gear Unite.
Oh,
well, I mean, if Gear Unite's halfway decent, I'm happy we're going to get like 3 different colors of it. But I think we all could have done without another 780. I don't think anyone was asking for that.
No, but overall, I think this set is pretty decent. Yeah, the red Samurai Saber, the University of Michigan blue and yellow Hell's Hammer. We got like a pink Tyrannosaurus, and then like I don't even know what kind of green this is on the top of my head. Crimson Garuda. The colors are really great looking, so don't get me wrong on that. But I don't think we need another recolor of really any of these.
I mean, Crimson Garuda only has one release. I think it's fine to get a recolor of Crimson Garuda.
Yeah, Hell's Hammer, we got two?
Yes.
There's the original Hell's Hammer.
I think it's more than me.
No. There's the original Hell's Hammer. There's the blue metal coat. And then there's the blue and red Hell's Hammer that comes with the FC Barcelona stadium set.
You know, I keep forgetting about that Barcelona set.
You do. You are really good at forgetting about Barcelona.
Huh. And Samurai Saber, this is our 4th recolor or 3rd recolor, so 4th Samurai. As much as I love Samurai, we don't need more. And Beat Terreno. Is this the second or third recolor of it?
Fourth.
Fourth.
Well, there's four. I guess
Fourth.
what I'm saying is there's four total Tyranno beats, right? There's the original red one, there's the green one, there's the red metal coat, and now there's this one. So I guess there's
Okay.
four total releases.
Yeah, I forgot about the green one.
You're really good at forgetting Beyblade.
There's so many Beyblades though. And all the recolors that they
It
keep
really
doing.
isn't. It's just a lot of recolors of the same Beyblade.
It really is. That's but yeah, other than that, there's not really much new stuff that's coming out. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at it. Oh, can you buy one of those? No. Okay. But yeah, other than that, there's not like it was a couple months ago where they were just throwing Beyblade releases right at us.
Left it right at us. Yeah, exactly. And now it's kind of petered out. They're kind of like, how about just a bunch of recolors? I don't know. We don't care.
Yeah, right. Someone says up in TikTok, I love Samurai Saber as it is right now, but that blue and white one is pretty fire. Which 100% agree that blue one is going to be right in my display right next to my orange one for sure. Oh, that's something that we can kind of talk about there, Vile, because you are our vendor guy here. Let's talk about this stadium shortages.
Oh, God.
You want to talk about stadium? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because someone said up in chat, the stadium shortage is crazy, which you are not wrong.
So I actually posted my first ever TikTok video the other day, my first ever one, and it was a 10-minute video where I talked about stadium shortages. And what's going on with the stadiums right now here, at least here in the West, they're still totally fine in Asia. Apparently in Australia, they're doing pretty good too. A little bit more expensive than Asia, but not crazy. And then we have this situation here in the West, and it's absolutely abhorrent. You cannot buy a stadium here right now. I mean, it's crazy. Have you guys looked around to see that?
Yeah, I look on Amazon every once in a while.
I know.
Yeah, Amazon is all out. Mall of Toys is out. Bays and Bricks are out. Literally nowhere, unless you can magically find one at a store. Good luck. They are non-existent at this point, and it's wild.
It really is totally insane, and it's a situation where for a little while here there was a reprieve with that new CX16 stadium set with the green and blue Bahamut Blitz in it, and people were excited. They're like, hey, I can get a stadium in this cool recolor of this bay, a launcher, a handle, $100, on a lot of the sites, maybe a little bit higher on some of the other ones, but it seemed fine until you realize that they're sold out everywhere now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy them on Bays and Bricks. You can't buy them on Bay Warehouse. You can't buy them on Mall of Toys. You can't buy it at Spin City. It's sold out everywhere. Now, for a little longer, Spin City was splitting up some of those sets, and they had the stadium as a standalone item for $69.99 US. And when I done my video about a week back on it, they were in stock, and I'd mentioned they were in stock. And then a day or two later, they're sold out of those too. So I mean, right now here in America, if you're trying to buy a stadium, I would assume at minimum you're paying $80 and maybe even more. It's gotten kind of out of control. And the question you got to ask yourself is, at what point are we making this game? And by we, not us as a community, but are TT and Hasbro combining to make this game inaccessible when the item you need to play the game and to practice for the events that you're going to go to on the weekends or on a Tuesday night or whenever, when your stadium breaks now, what do you do? Especially if you're not JP Moneybags.
Right. And you all know we're not getting
that answer is obvious.
Well, we're not getting the Hasbro stadiums. We're not playing on that. We're not playing on the Drop Attack. We're not even playing on the 3-person one or anything really relatively in between. We really want to play on the TT stadiums. And someone bought the BX10 stadium from Japan figure a few weeks ago, and it came out to $69, which I don't know if that's 69 with taxes and fees and everything, but I really doubt that.
What
But
did they say? BX10. So that's the standalone release. My
right,
guess would be maybe if they did it right, that could have been their all in price. And like right now, considering the market, that's not a bad price at the moment.
no,
Like
it's
I said,
not.
I was just shelling for Spin City and their $70 stadium, so I can't say that Japan figure is any better or worse for being $70. What I can say is my concern is how long is it going to take to get here? That would be my only concern. I think it's a fair price. And I think if that's the way you have to go to not pay 80, 90, $100, then you probably do. But it is coming from Japan. And so my question is, how long is it going to take to get here?
Okay,
You know?
so ordered it a few weeks ago. It just came today. The stadium itself was $22. It took 2 weeks. So grand total with shipping and all the fees was $69 from a $22 stadium.
And we actually had a thought exercise on this the other day, Cake. I don't know if you were paying attention in the Discord that day, but Psychopomp had been looking at trying to import a Japanese stadium, I believe, through one of the proxies, probably Zen Market.
Hmm.
Um, and I kind of went through and was like, brother, this probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Now this probably what's being said right now probably does make sense because I don't think you're getting a stadium for under $70 anywhere else right now. But in general, importing large items from foreign countries gets expensive. Um, so I'm just glad that this gentleman or lady, whoever we're talking about here, one of our viewers, was able to do so, and it didn't get like too crazy. I think 70 is fine right now in the current market. I think that's what you should be aiming for.
Well, they just looked
Yeah.
and price went up though, so now it comes to $94 with everything, including shipping,
Ugh.
which going from $69 to $94, a $25 difference is beyond
Listen,
crazy.
I'm gonna just say it, and I hate to say it, but if this continues to be a thing, I think we need to start boycotting Beyblade X to really just tell them, hey, listen, you can't continue to treat us this way over here in the States.
I,
We continue to give them all of our money, and they continue to just absolutely unabashedly make things more difficult for us to play the same thing everyone else is playing. It's getting ridiculous.
or I guess we just need to make a trip, Minnesota trip over to Japan, bring
Oh,
some.
see, I wasn't even going to say that. I'd say the only other thing to do is start going through the web, finding decent knockoff stadiums and making those tournament legal, especially if they work exactly like the TTT ones.
I would be totally open at this point if, listen, I can maybe weather another month or two, and that's just how I personally feel. Other people might already be sick of this. Maybe some people don't, play at home in their stadium. Maybe they don't have one. They just play at events, so maybe they're not concerned about it. Um, but another month or two of this, and I really do believe that the WBO or the BBAX or any other governing bodies we have here stateside might need to consider looking into a third party stadium solution because this is really getting out of control.
Yeah,
Agreed. I
and
mean, again, to go back to some of the other Beyblade stuff, Beyblade Burst, we never had this problem, but in Metal Fight, there is one stadium known as the BB10 that is like it's the stadium for tournaments and stuff like that, and they just don't make them anymore. Except for there's Akuna can tell everyone the name of it. I do not remember exactly where it was from, but there was a company that actually made BB10s, and not only were they good, they were fantastic. Like they were thicker than even the TT ones, which did not affect the gameplay at all, but made them much sturdier.
Uh, Thor says up in chat, Santa Fe Beyblade X League. I ask people to bring their own stadiums, which is wild to have people bring their own stadiums to an event due to the
Yeah.
shortage.
I mean, here's the thing, and TT and Hasbro, I hope both of you guys are listening because both of you need to hear this. We're at an age and a time now where if y'all don't start like really putting the effort in to make sure we get the stuff that we need to, we're just going to say we're going to just put our money into 3D printing the darn things if we have to. Screw y'all.
Oh my
Like
god,
we
that'd be
can 3D print
crazy.
whatever we want these days, and you think we're just going to sit there and let y'all take advantage of us? No. Give us what we want, or we'll make it for you, and you can't do anything about it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And all
Uh,
I'll say is cry about it, multi-million-dollar company. You decided to turn your back on the Beyblade industry and the people who actually care about giving money to you. So if we have to start 3D printing and doing like third-party stuff in order to actually participate in the game, sorry, that's money you're losing out on. Cry about it to your wife.
sorry, not sorry. 3D printing would require
Exactly.
so much post production.
Yeah, so that's really so. Chad has a point. We have gotten to the age where we're 3D printing almost everything. I mean, we've seen the stadium holders, we've seen the extreme pocket catchers, we've seen the grips. Obviously, some people are going totally nuts, not for sanctioned events, of course, but in printing their own Beyblades. Um, what what Chad says in theory is great. I would love to be able to 3D print a stadium, and you can do it, right? But
Yeah.
what our viewer is saying is actually correct as it pertains to stadium specifically. The the amount of work you would have to do post printing and the amount of filament it would require to print, it might make it not just cost prohibitive but also time prohibitive. And then you get to a
Well,
point where,
which
huh?
I totally get that. I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, like, if your only option is to either hope and pray that they finally like get their heads out of their asses and like really start like making these available or 3D printing a stadium, I guarantee there's going to be a few people who are just like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to make a stadium. I'm going to make it so it doesn't break as easily as the can actually last more than 3 tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, what I would be looking into if I was a more industrious man than I am, okay? What I might be looking into right now is there someplace in America, and I'm not sure if they're using plastic injection molding or exactly what they're doing for the TT stadiums. That's a little bit above my pay grade and understanding. But I'd start looking out. Is there anywhere, whether it's a stateside outfit or somewhere in China or wherever it happens to be, that's willing to make replicas of these that are more affordable and possibly even like Chad said, more durable as well.
Yeah, I mean, if push comes to 100% down with saying, TT and Hasbro, the only money you're getting now is from the actual blades themselves. You will never be getting any more of my money when it comes to stadiums and accessories because y'all keep dropping the ball on it. Like I'm sorry. Here comes me being a savage once again, but I've never seen so much fumbling since I watched the Viking their last playoffs. Like holy crud. It is
Shout
Well,
not
out
that
that's
goddamn hard to provide product to your people and fans.
shout out to
yeah. I
JJ
mean,
McCarthy.
oh geez, JJ McCarthy's never been to the NFL playoffs. He just won a college football championship based off of his running game and his defense. But that's neither here nor there. The point that Chad's making, though, I don't want to get back into ripping on Hasbro because we already kind of did that. But the one thing I will say when it comes to availability is it's not just a stadium problem. where are our shark scales?
No.
Right, we talked about that earlier. That's a very fair
Mhm.
question. Why do we
Scalpers.
have every other Wave 7 release at Walmart, but we don't have shark scale? That's a little strange,
Well,
isn't it?
I can answer that one, but that might be a little too savage.
Well, that's fair. But then my next question is, and this is a very basic one, guys. You know, this where can you go in the West? Okay, if you live here in the West, okay, so Minnesota, Alabama, wherever, okay, and you don't happen to be lucky enough to have a store that stocks TT product near you, and a lot of us don't. Okay, that's an important thing to make very clear. Well, we are lucky enough here in Minnesota where we have a few vendors that carry some TT stuff. And while there are other areas that are lucky enough to have similar vendors or maybe a local store that orders Japanese product, um, a lot of places don't. Where is the average American Beyblade player supposed to get a winder launcher? I'll wait.
Amazon.
Canada.
I mean, do they have them on Amazon still in stock?
When I
No.
let me double check, but I think when I just looked earlier today, yes, they did.
Oh,
Uh,
well,
Listen,
hard to name a
it's
while.
great if they do, but how, you know, I just think they
yes.
should be available at Target like they were when the game first came out. You could buy a standalone winder launcher, that was fine.
Mm.
Really, they should be in with the Beyblades. They're not. But if you can at least buy one at retail, that's healthy and fine. But right now you can't. It's Amazon only, and only if they have it in stock.
Yeah, as of
And
right
that's not
now,
even a comment. Go ahead.
yep, Amazon has them right now, $11.83, but there is a coupon for to make it $10.64. So a
And see,
dollar, yeah.
at that point, I might as well just order a Night Fortress from all the toys and get a Beyblade in my launcher. I don't know. That doesn't seem like a very good price. And to be frank, it's the oldest winder launcher we have, and we all know that those old ones are not the same as the Pegasus Blast launcher, the Scorpio Spear launcher, um, the Soul Eclipse launcher. Those are some amazing launchers with the nice longer ripcords, and they want us to overpay on Amazon only, not even at Target or Walmart. If you need one today, you're done. Okay. Um, and they're not even the nicer, newer launchers that we've come to appreciate.
Or you can wait until
Welcome to
July.
Beyblade.
Wait until July, and then you guys can get the new Clip and Rip.
Oh God, no.
Listen. I have one of those on pre-order, and I have plenty of Pegasus Blast, so it's not for the Beyblade. I just want to be able to walk around and say, "Hey, are you ready to clip and rip?" But in all seriousness, I'm sure it's going to be a disaster of a launcher. I'm not super excited for it.
But
And
that's
we
beside the
just want
point.
the winder launchers here in America. We want stadiums here in America.
We
Like
also
we want we want shark scale to not be $40 on eBay. Like these aren't big asks.
we
It's
also want
not. And I'm gonna be a little savage here. I'm gonna have my little bit of a hot take here, but it's not
oh,
a hot take, and anyone who knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. But TT, how does it feel to
oh,
know that you take more advantage out of your player base
uh-oh,
currently with all this
uh-oh,
nonsense that's been going on than
uh-oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh? How does
oh.
it feel to know you're less money grubbing than Konami? That is a statement and a half that I can't believe I get to say. But like Konami recently,
It's
for those who don't
garbage.
know Yu-Gi-Oh, you may not get it. They recently came out with a product called the Legendary Starter Deck, and what it is they gave for $30, okay, $30, you got three competitive, ready to play right out of the box decks, including like incredibly powerful staple cards for $30. And you're telling me we can't even find good grips at a decent price? Good launchers at a decent price? Come the fuck on, man. That's sad.
Yeah, Konami is not not good and not known for their player pleasing.
Not known for caring about their player base because for the longest time they were like, "Hey, here's how we're going to celebrate many years of Yu-Gi-Oh! An unaffordable metal plate with a Yu-Gi-Oh card on it. We whoop-de flippin' do."
Hey, Chad, I can't speak bad about Konami. I still love, I guess now it'd be considered probably a vintage release, it's so old, but I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Premium Gold Return of the Blade. That was my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Set of all time, just because of
Oh
the
my
name.
god.
Oh no. See, you're talking about classic stuff that's great. I'm talking about for some of their releases, they were like, "Here, we're going to give you like a rectangle of metal to celebrate Yu-Gi-Oh! We're not going to reprint the cards that you guys want. We're not going to give you guys the decks you want. We're going to give you a $500 to $600 rectangle of metal that looks like a playing card."
That's
But
interesting.
like I
I
said,
don't.
recently Konami has actually been going back to their roots. They realized the mistakes they were making and they saw the millions of dollars that they were losing out on. And they flipped the script. They said, "Okay, you know what? We'll give you guys what you wanted. Here's a set that comes with like two of the most powerful decks in Yu-Gi-Oh right now that can actually just be thrown together to make a deck that can win you tournaments with all the necessary pieces and everything like that for $30." Like I bought it recently. Well, my dad got it for me as a really nice early birthday present, but like I could go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament today and I'd probably make top cut. It's that powerful for
Yeah, and I don't know.
$30. That's insane.
And I don't know, that TT or Hasbro could do something quite like that. Beyblade is a fundamentally different game. Um, with that being said, I would like to see, everyone involved in Beyblade distribution from TT to Hasbro just do a little bit better job. Let's make
That's
these
what I'm trying to
essentials.
say is like if Konami, who is known for their money grubbing practices and for being basically Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob personified, if even they can listen to their fans, then TT, why can't you? It's not like we're asking for like handouts. We're not asking for you to just make every single one of your products free or anything stupid like that. We're just asking for your products to be more available to more people so that way everyone can enjoy it. Quit being xenophobic about it and only caring about your Asian market or the Philippines market or those who are close to you. Care about those who are out here providing you currency for your shit. It's that simple. It's basic business.
Chad very angry at TT and Hasbro right now.
Well, and
Yes, because it's ridiculous when you think about it.
just like what Knuckles says, if you guys have a problem with it, just save it for the stadium.
Hey,
Okay, listen here, Knuckles.
oh boy.
I would absolutely battle TT if it meant getting stadiums for everyone here in America. I would
Oh.
take them on mono e mono.
Well, that kind of goes into the next question, though. Do you think TT would have entered the U.S. market more without the tariffs?
There is a possibility that is part of it, which if that is the case, to an extent, I do understand. Like, I'm not just an asshole. I totally get that. The orange man who can't make it a week without getting shot at is making life difficult for everyone around the world, not just for us here in America. But at
Oh
the
my
same
god.
time, like there has to be a compromise we can work out between us and TT, between Hasbro and TT to make the stadiums more available, or at the very least for them to reprint the stadiums in a much thicker plastic that makes them more durable. That's all we're asking for.
Well, unlike Tube says, I don't know, TT was never involved in the West even before the recent tariffs.
Yeah, I mean,
Which is also unfortunately kind of true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
TT,
I
we all
think
know what you really care about. You care more about making terrible Transformers figures than you do actually making products people want, but that's besides the point.
That's Hasbro.
so. My problem with this is like, so I wish TT would do more here, but I agree with Unlike Tube. They have never really done anything here. And I do believe, part of that is they want to focus on their core market, which they obviously seem to believe is the Asian region. But I also understand that if Hasbro is distributing items they are creating here in the US and other Western markets, they must have some sort of distribution agreement with Hasbro that I'm sure needs
They
to
do.
be renewed every now and then. But while that agreement is in effect for the dates it's in effect for, they likely are very limited in what they can do with product movement in the West. They probably cannot usurp the agreement that I'm sure Hasbro paid them a lot of money to enter into and start directly releasing TT products here in America. That probably would involve a major lawsuit.
Which, if that's the case, then the answer to all of our problems is pretty simple, which is just Hasbro. Just make Hasbro versions of the TT Stadium.
That'd
Enough
be
with the weird gimmick stadiums. As much as we love them,
no,
and
we
we
don't.
think some of them are actually pretty fun,
No, they're
just
not.
just give us the stadium that's cake. I don't want to hear it. We all love the Infinity Stadium. Exactly.
That's TT though.
No, but like seriously. Oh well, Hasbro, make a stadium people care about then.
Yeah, because Hasbro gave us the portable stadium. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Which, hey,
Hasbro
actually,
Hasbro Hasbro gave us multiple colors of the bucket stadium. Yeah, like we needed more than just
well, no
one
one cares
damn
about the
color.
bucket, but hey, Hasbro, you have the ability to just make everyone's day by making the new stadiums or making TT stadiums out of the same thickness of plastic that you used for the portable stadium. Like, imagine having TT style stadiums that are as durable as those. Like, Metal Needle wouldn't need to be banned anymore, unironically.
Oh my god.
That's a wild thought.
It's wild, but it's also true when you think about it because those portable stadiums could absolutely take the beating that Metal Needle provided.
Honestly, he's not wrong. That is a pretty thick plastic, but
Yeah.
the
And I mean, let's be realistic. We don't need the entire bottom of the stadium to be made out of a thicker plastic. The only parts of the stadium that we're asking Hasbro and TT or whoever wants to, actually earn some decent money out of it, reinforce the pockets and reinforce the parts of the stadium where the actual metal part of the Beyblade hits. Like, all you have to do is thicken those parts up just a little bit, and suddenly the stadiums will last like 5 times longer. Because let's
Five
be
times
honest,
longer.
we all have seen where the stadiums get damaged most, and it's always in the pockets as well as like the contact sides of the shroud.
yes.
I've seen a fair amount of rail breakage too, though. Actually,
Mostly just the teeth.
Which that's just unfortunate, but that's hard to really fix without making the rails out of a different material, which I can't feasibly ask them to change that. But at least with the rest of the stadium, that's not hard to fix.
no, and I wish they would
Especially
consider
because
these
that
things. I wish they would.
yeah. Especially now that we're reaching a point where Beyblade X isn't just a hobby, it's not just something you do for fun. It is starting to become like an actual honest to God sport.
It's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. You're not
It is a
wrong.
life. It
Thanks,
is a lifestyle.
Knuckles.
That was me. Knuckles had nothing to do with that.
No, I know, but Knuckles has said that plenty of times in the past too.
Oh,
I mean, I honest to
Yeah,
God have people call me, or I call people, depending on the situation. But I'm pretty much on the phone talking about Beyblade every single day of the week at this point. And if I'm not on the phone talking about it, it's because I'm at an event doing it. So
Yeah.
like it really
Which makes sense.
it really has grown beyond just a child's toy. Um
Yeah.
and
And
I
and
wish.
that's why I feel so passionately about what I've been saying, because at the end of the day, it's like Hasbro and TT, y'all need to just realize that this is no longer just a funny little children's toy to keep the little ones from accidentally blowing up the kitchen. This is an actual thing that people are investing time and money into and should be treated as such.
Wayward says Beyblade is in fashion, which you're not wrong. They got that new little shirt.
Oh
Yeah, I would.
gosh. I
Yeah, don't get
completely forgot about the
don't get me.
Beyblade shirt.
Yeah, don't get me started on the BBLD limited release base and the prices on those right now. Yeah, I have some thoughts on that, but we don't need to get into that tonight. Um, so I mean, Cake, we're at about 8:40 right now, so we only have about 20 minutes left before our normal end time. Do we kind of want to move on to going over the upcoming events?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I
But
think that's the perfect time.
yeah, Psycho Palms, just kind of ending off with that. When you get a group of players crossing state lines or also like country lines to compete, it's not just a hobby, which which is very true, and
Exactly.
that kind of goes with like any competitive scene, any of anything, like TCGs. Like we've talked about all of this many times. It is this this game is more than just a hobby at this point. It's a lot of people consider it as a lifestyle, and it's a blast. I wouldn't have it any other way, and the community is top tier.
That's
All
the
right.
other thing too, is like we have one of the better communities out there when it comes to like people willing to like help each other out. And that's why I want this to get fostered as much as possible and why it needs to be nurtured and cared for, cuz it's only a matter of time before we start to get like the really bad people in here and get compared to the My Hero Academia communities.
I don't think I
Anyway,
want that. I
yeah.
don't think I want that. Anyhow,
Anyway,
um,
tournaments.
let's go. Let's go on to the events. So this Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, Saturday, May 2nd, uh, 4 p.m. doors, 5 p.m. start time. We have Hit Zone Season 1, Episode 8, Team Fusion. That is a 3 players against 3 players team event. Each player controls one bay, similar to what you'd see on the anime. And we've had some great turnouts for these team events in the past, and I honestly think they're the most fun events that I host. I know some people prefer ranked. I think these team events are a little more interesting. I think people step outside their comfort zone a little more, and not just from maybe playing different Beyblades because it's not a ranked setting, but also getting to know other members of their team, more socialization between the community in general. This is gonna be a lot of fun. So if you are free this Saturday, you should come on by. Entry fee is $10. Again, doors 4, start 5, and it's gonna be a hell of an event. We're gonna test out the new table layout at Kraken, so hopefully it's a little bit easier for people to
Ooh.
move around. And we cut down on the amount of clutter and people standing in the aisles and all that sorts of stuff we've been dealing with in the recent past. Now, beyond
Yeah.
that, on Wednesday, May
Hold on.
6th,
Kind of
what's up?
follow up question. What if I want to go, but I do not have a team?
Well, Cake, that's a very good
So
question. If you are on the Great Plains Discord, you can go ahead and you can use the Looking for Team channel. If you are not on the Great Plains Discord, maybe we should start posting a link to that on our videos, by the way.
I already
Um,
have.
then yeah, I didn't know that. Then you should go ahead and join. But the most important part is if you arrive to the event and you do not have a team, we will pair you with other players at the event. So everyone who shows up is going to get to play, and everyone who shows up is going to have a great time. I can pretty much guarantee it. So hopefully that
Woo!
answers the question.
Yep.
Now, going forward, Wednesday, May 6th,
at 7:15 p.m., we have the Papa D Invitational CX16 edition. And that will be taking place at Kraken Hits, again, with a start time of 7:15 p.m. There is no entry fee to that event. You just show up and you play. The format is going to be single elimination, and there's a little bit more to it than that, but you can refer to the event on the Discord if you want to know more. You can DM me. It's a lot to get into on the live here. The important part is this, okay? If we get under 22 players, there is going to be some sort of minor prize, but it's not going to be anything crazy. Okay, there'll still be a prize. We'll still run the event, whatever. But if we get 22 or more players, the first place prize will be a full new in box CX16 stadium set, which is the one that
Ooh.
comes with the green and blue Bahamut Blitz. So for anyone
That's
who would,
this Saturday
huh,
tournament?
huh,
No, Wednesday.
no, that's
Wednesday. Okay.
Yep, that's Wednesday at the free play event. So, guys, if we
Ooh.
want that to be the prize, we need to get 22 or more players. Otherwise, the prize will be something considerably smaller. So, let's go ahead and let's make sure we're talking about it with the community. Let's make sure we're telling our friends, we're telling our family, and let's get 22 or more players out there. Again, no entry fee whatsoever. Just come out and win and get yourself a CX16 stadium set courtesy of Papa D. Now, Sunday, May 10th, because we do not have an event on Saturday the 9th. So Sunday, May 10th, we have the Brewing for Battle free play at
Woo!
at the Broken Clock Brewing. And I believe that's somewhere around the Minneapolis, St. Paul like area. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you exactly off the top of my head, but it's on the Discord. That is running from 12 to 4. And that is simply just another free play session. I don't believe there's going to be any tournaments or anything like that. You're just going to show up, you're going to bring your stuff, and we're going to free play. And it's Chad's birthday. So if you want to celebrate with him, then that is the place to do it. And he's going to get white girl wasted, as I think we like to call it. So I'm
Hell
going to
yeah,
be
he
curious
is.
to see Chad in that state. Um, so, guys, it's going to be a great time. So, Sunday, May 10th, 12 to 4, Broken Clock Brewing. Show up and show out, and let's have a great time, and let's celebrate Chad's birthday a little bit too. There's plenty of both alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages for sale on site. So, if you want to get a little tipsy while you're letting it rip, you can absolutely, most certainly do that. Now, moving on. Saturday, May 16th, 4 p.m. doors, 5 p.m. start time, $10 entry fee is Hit Zone Season 1, Episode 9, Astounding Surprise. Now, I'm not going to talk about what the surprise is yet because you'll have to be there to see, but there is going to be kind of a cool surprise. And hopefully by now, players have enough faith in me to just trust me when I say that. So that's going to be a ranked event. We're going to be playing to 5 points like we're used to here in Minnesota. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, all of my audio equipment will be in by then so we can give it a test before the June 6th event. And like I said, going to be a wonderful time, like all the Hit Zone events are. Now, the next day, on Sunday, May 17th, going from 4 p.m. to, somewhere between 6 and 7 p.m., although people can definitely stay later and hang out and do some free play afterwards. We're going to have the Minnesota Judge Workshop #2. So that's 4 p.m. at Kraken Hits. There's no entry fee or anything like that. It's not a tournament. It is a judging workshop. And what we want to do is we want to bring in existing judges and also people who are interested in becoming judge certified through the WBO. And we're going to run through a bunch of different things with these people. We're going to be looking to see if they can find illegal decks, if they are noticing counterfeit parts. We're going to see how they judge matches, if they're catching their mid-airs, if they're catching the launch errors, hitting the shroud, too steep of an angle. We're going to be going through all that kind of stuff. And they really are a lot of fun, and it really does breed a great sense of camaraderie. The first one, I think, went very well, and I hope that the people who were there enjoyed it. We'll also be doing a little bit with confrontation management, which is kind of my specialty, where we want to make sure that judges are feeling confident about telling players, like, no, that's not allowed. We're not going to be doing that. Maybe if they're talking shit or they're, behaving in a way that's not, proper for the event. We're going to be going over all that sort of stuff. It's going to be
Oh
great.
boy.
Everyone who is a judge should come and brush up on stuff if they didn't come to the last one. Everyone who wants to become a judge should definitely stop by and learn some new things. And again, it's worth noting that judges that have attended at least one of these two workshops are going to have priority status to judge the June 6th event, the North Star Beyblade 2026, and the advantages and perks that come along with doing so. Now, moving on to the next one, Saturday, May 23rd. Noon for doors and a 1 p.m. start time. We have Next Spin Volume 3. As far as I know, that will be capped at 32 players. Wayward has said he would like to make that a little higher if he can, but we have to see which part of the mall he's going to get this time. So don't guarantee, you can't guarantee it right now. So y'all, if you want to sign up for this, you need to sign up immediately. If
Yes.
you wait, you are going to miss out. It was very, very hard to get a spot at the last one. I assume with this one being the Baycon qualifier, that's another big thing. It is a qualifier for Baycon. So if you do win, you will receive a free ticket to Baycon. Now you still have to handle your own flight or driving and accommodations and all that, but your ticket to the event will be free. And it's going to be a lot of fun, but you got to sign up early. Now, there are going to be some different rules for this. I'm going to let Wayward get into that in the Discord and the WBO event post. It's going to be a little bit different than Minnesota Standard, but it's still going to be a ton of fun, and it's going to prepare the winner for hopefully their eventual attendance at Baycon. And again, spots are going to go fast. This is not a 64 cap event, so you need to sign up early if you want to be there. You need to make this a priority. Lastly, Saturday, June 6th, doors at 11 a.m., start time for the limited event noon, and then start time for the ranked event will kind of be determined based on the flow of the day, but it'll probably be right around 5, give or take. We have Great Plains Presents North Star Beyblade 2026. We all know that the cutoff before the prices go up is going to be on May 6th. May 6th will be the final day you can lock in at that $30 price point for both events. So make sure you do that if you have not already. You can pay Egg digitally via the payment link on the poster at any time. Digitally, Egg will accept PayPal, friends, and family. He will accept Cash App, and he will accept Venmo. Make sure you include a note with your WBO name and what event or events you are signing up for, and get it done. Otherwise, if you want to pay cash, which is also an option, you will be able to see Egg this weekend, May 2nd at Kraken Hits for my event. If you miss him that day, but you have to pay cash and you want to get in before the rates go up, then the last time to do that, and you'll probably be dealing with me this day, not Egg, but I will be accepting cash payments on Egg's behalf at the Papa D Invitational Wednesday, May 6th. So that will be your absolute last opportunity to get the current rate if you pay cash. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Once we get into May here, we're going to start doing some prize announcements for this event. Please remember, if you're on the fence about this event, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're going to get to do 2 tournaments in the same day, which is almost unheard of in a lot of places. And the biggest thing is we've spent a lot of time putting this together. We've had 4 individuals involved in the entire design process for this event. So we've had a chance to overcome some obstacles that solo organizers might have. We've had a lot of experience since we started setting this up, going to other larger events and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And also, unlike certain other events, there's not going to be, every dollar that we take in sponsorships or entry fees is going to go right back into the event, whether it's prizing or amenities or venue fee. none of the organizers are taking even a single dollar home in their pocket from this. So it's all going to go back into the event. We think it's going to be a really fun time and a really great value for what you get out of it. So I'd strongly encourage everyone from Minnesota and the surrounding areas to really, really consider taking that day off work and committing to coming to North Star Beyblade 2026. With that being said, I think that's all the events. I do know that Sam is going to run something at Kraken on Saturday the 30th. That'll be normal start time, normal doors time. And he may even run something Sunday the 24th, but don't quote me on that because that's not locked in yet. Cake, that's all I got for you.
Fantastic. Yeah, so there are a lot of events coming through Minnesota. So if you guys are in Minnesota or a surrounding state and want to come play some Beyblades, this is a really great scene, so highly recommended. Is there anything else before we kind of send her off, guys?
I'm
Nah,
Gucci.
I
I just
think
talked
that's
for like
everything.
14 minutes. You guys talk.
Yeah, 14 minutes on just tournaments. It's wild, but hey, that's what happens when we have such great people, have such an amazing scene. People want to make events and keep this community keeping on. But thank you guys so much.
Oh yeah.
Thank you guys so very much for listening to the Spin Zone podcast. Again, if you guys have not done yet, so go to beybladepodcast.com, use code SPINZONE for 7% off your total order, or go to malloftoys.com and use code SPINZONEPODCAST at checkout for 5% of your total order. All those proceeds and everything will come back to the Spin Zone podcast for prizing and giveaways and everything else like that. Speaking of giveaways, we are getting so close to reaching our 200 follower mark. So we are giving away a free Wayward spin stand. So faster we get to that, faster we can kind of give that away. It is for U.S. states or territories only, but we can kind of get more into the more details once the event gets closer. Also, join the Discord, follow us up on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and any other social medias that are down in the description below. All right, guys. Up until next time, guys. So long. Stay safe out there. Have a great and awesome rest of your day.